Australia today is a land of unique animals and breathtaking landscapes, but it also holds the title of hosting some of the deadliest creatures on Earth. From venomous snakes to lurking crocodiles, the modern environment is no joke. Yet, if you think today's wildlife is dangerous, the prehistoric era takes it to another level entirely, with animals that were bigger, faster, and even deadlier. Take the snakes, for instance. Australia is famous for having the top contenders in the list of most venomous species. But imagine living in a time when snakes were not only venomous, but also massive. In prehistoric times, creatures like the Wanambi were a terrifying reality. They didn't just rely on venom, they could crush their prey with sheer force. Nature back then didn't do anything halfway. Now let's dive into the waters. Today's crocodiles are feared for good reason, but their ancient relatives were even more formidable. Imagine a creature like the quincana, a crocodile that could chase you on land with its powerful legs. Unlike today's semi-aquatic predators, these beasts didn't wait for you to come near the water. They'd come to you, teeth gleaming, ready to hunt. Even the skies weren't entirely safe. While modern Australia might boast dangerous birds like cassowaries, the prehistoric skies belonged to giant flightless birds like the dromornis. Standing taller than most humans and equipped with sharp claws, this thunderbird could easily defend itself from predators or anything it saw as a threat. The climate added to the chaos. Australia's harsh environment today, marked by extreme heat and droughts, was a walk in the park compared to prehistoric conditions. Back then, the land experienced even more severe fluctuations, making survival a constant challenge. The combination of monstrous creatures and unforgiving weather made it one of the toughest places to live. Through it all, modern Australia serves as a reminder of its ferocious past. While its prehistoric dangers have long vanished, the echoes of that era remain in its deadly animals and harsh conditions. Learning about this ancient world is like opening a thrilling chapter in the history of survival, where every creature had to fight for its place in the food chain. When it comes to predators, prehistoric Australia was like a real-life monster movie. Forget the scary animals we know today. Back then, everything was supersized and twice as terrifying. If you thought a regular crocodile was bad, meet quincana, the land-hunting croc with razor-sharp teeth and legs strong enough to chase its prey on solid ground. No swamp needed, it brought the fight to you. But the horrors didn't stop there. Enter megalania, a lizard on steroids. Picture a monitor lizard the size of a truck with venomous saliva and claws that could rip through anything. Its diet? Anything it wanted. Unlike today's lizards that scurry away at danger, megalania was the danger, stalking the land like a reptilian nightmare. Running into one was like losing a prehistoric lottery. Even the snakes had leveled up. Say hello to Wanambi, a 20-foot serpent that didn't just squeeze its prey, it shredded them. Unlike today's pythons, which swallow their meals whole, Wanambi used its sharp teeth to tear apart its dinner. Its ambush tactics near waterholes made every sip a gamble. Quenching your thirst could mean becoming the main course. Let's not forget about the thylacoleo, or marsupial lion. This wasn't your typical cuddly marsupial. With blade-like teeth and retractable claws, it was built to hunt. It had the agility of a big cat and the strength to take down creatures several times its size. Think of it as nature's most terrifying Swiss Army knife, with tools for every deadly occasion. And then there were the giant birds, like dromornis, standing over 6 feet tall and weighing as much as a small car. While technically herbivorous, they were far from friendly. Their sheer size and powerful legs made them more than capable of defending themselves. Think of them as prehistoric bouncers, keeping everything, including predators, in check. In prehistoric Australia, survival wasn't just a skill, it was a full-time job. Every predator had evolved into a lean, mean hunting machine, with no shortage of ways to dominate the food chain. For anything caught in their path, the odds of survival were slim. It's a good thing we're only reading about them now and not running from them. When you think herbivore, you probably picture calm animals chewing leaves in peace. Prehistoric Australia didn't get the memo. These plant eaters were massive, and while they didn't hunt, they weren't exactly harmless. Take the Diprotodon, a wombat on steroids the size of an elephant. With its sheer bulk and powerful bite, it could crush anything in its way. Even plants had to watch out. Speaking of size, meet the Dromornis, also known as the Thunderbird. This giant, flightless bird towered over humans at over 6 feet tall and weighed as much as a small car. It may have been a vegetarian, but it wasn't exactly cuddly. With claws sharp enough to intimidate, it made sure predators thought twice before attacking. Sometimes being huge is its own kind of defense. Herbivores also had attitude. These creatures weren't passive grazers but survivors in a brutal world. Diprotodon, for example, likely used its massive size to push through obstacles or even fend off predators like Megalania. Sure, it didn't have fangs, but when you're that big, just existing is a flex. Sometimes being the heavyweight champion is all the protection you need. Let's not forget their role in shaping the ecosystem. These herbivores weren't just eating plants. They were landscaping giants, clearing paths through dense vegetation and creating open spaces. This made life easier for smaller creatures while also scattering seeds far and wide. They were like prehistoric gardeners, only much larger and a lot less precise. But size wasn't always an advantage. Carrying around all that weight made them prime targets for predators. It's like wearing a sign that says, "Big meal available." The Dromornis may have been fast for its size, but a determined predator like the Thylacoleo could still make dinner plans. Being big and strong meant nothing if you couldn't outrun the competition. These giants were a reminder that life in prehistoric Australia wasn't just about sharp teeth and claws. Even the plant eaters had to adapt, using size, strength, and strategy to survive. Whether they were stomping through forests or staring down predators, these herbivores proved that being gentle didn't mean being an easy target. Prehistoric Australia wasn't just dangerous because of the animals. It was the land itself that tested every creature. The climate was no friend, swinging between extreme droughts and occasional devastating floods. Imagine living in a place where water was either a distant dream or suddenly everywhere, and you've got the setting for this unforgiving continent. The terrain didn't make things any easier. Much of prehistoric Australia was arid, with stretches of desert and scrubland that offered little shelter or resources. Food and water were rare treasures, and every creature, whether predator or prey, had to fight for them. It wasn't just survival of the fittest, it was survival of the smartest and luckiest too. Then there were the natural hazards. Volcanic activity and shifting landscapes added an extra layer of danger. Earthquakes and eruptions weren't just a backdrop, they were life-altering events. These geological shifts shaped the land, creating habitats for some and wiping out others. If the animals didn't get you, the land itself might. Despite these challenges, life thrived in unexpected ways. Animals adapted to endure the dry spells and make the most of the wet seasons. Kangaroos developed powerful legs for long-distance travel, and smaller creatures burrowed underground to escape the heat. Innovation wasn't just for humans, it started with nature's survivors. Early humans faced their own uphill battle. They had to navigate these extreme conditions with little more than their wits and basic tools. Hunting and gathering required strategy and bravery, especially when predators lurked around every corner. Every trip for water or food was a calculated risk, where one wrong step could be your last. In the end, prehistoric Australia was a masterclass in survival. It taught every creature, human and animal alike, that adaptation was the key to life. Whether it was enduring scorching heat, finding scarce resources, or dodging predators, every moment was a test of resilience. For those who passed, the reward was simple: another day alive. If you thought prehistoric predators were bad enough, think again. Prehistoric Australia didn't just host terrifying animals, it was also full of less obvious threats. Imagine stepping into a pond to cool off, only to find it's home to a Palimnarchus, a crocodile that could rival modern saltwater crocs in size. It wasn't just a pond, it was a trap, waiting for anything brave or unlucky enough to approach. The water wasn't the only danger. On land, small but deadly threats lurked in every corner. Giant insects, like prehistoric relatives of today's centipedes, scuttled around, ready to deliver a nasty bite. While they might not have been as big as the megalania, they still packed enough venom to ruin your day, or your whole life. Small doesn't always mean safe. Even plants weren't entirely harmless. Some prehistoric vegetation developed tough defenses like toxic sap or sharp spines to fend off herbivores. For early humans and animals, identifying what was safe to eat was a matter of trial and error. Unfortunately, too many errors meant no second chances. In prehistoric Australia, even your salad might fight back. The skies weren't a sanctuary either. While giant birds like Dromornis stomped the ground, the air was home to massive eagles and other predators. These avian hunters had sharp talons and keen eyesight, making anything that moved a potential snack. Escaping danger on the ground didn't mean you were out of reach. Then there was the sheer unpredictability of the environment. Sudden dust storms or flash floods could transform the landscape in minutes. A safe resting spot could become a death trap without warning. It was like nature had a sense of humor, albeit a very dark one. Surviving wasn't just about avoiding predators, it was about staying ahead of the elements. In prehistoric Australia, the hidden dangers were often just as lethal as the obvious ones. From venomous bites to nature's surprises, every moment was a gamble. It's a miracle anything survived in such a relentless environment, but those that did proved they were tough enough to take on the odds and win. Despite the odds, prehistoric humans managed to thrive in Australia, proving that brains can outmatch brawn. Facing predators, harsh climates, and scarce resources, they didn't just survive, they adapted. Early humans used ingenuity to craft tools, build shelters, and develop strategies. They weren't the fastest or strongest, but they had the ultimate weapon, problem-solving skills. One of their greatest achievements was mastering fire. This wasn't just for cooking. Fire provided warmth, protection from predators, and even a tool for hunting. Controlled burns helped flush out prey and shape the land to their advantage. Fire turned the tables, giving humans a fighting chance in a world dominated by beasts like Megalania and Quincana. Teamwork was another game changer. Humans learned to rely on each other for hunting, protection, and resource sharing. While a lone person might have stood no chance against a thylacoleo, a coordinated group could plan an ambush or set traps. Collaboration turned humans into a force to be reckoned with, even in a land as deadly as Australia. Their adaptability didn't stop there. Early humans became skilled trackers, learning to read the land and anticipate dangers. They understood animal behavior, which helped them avoid predators and hunt effectively. This deep connection with their environment made them masters of survival, even in the harshest conditions. Over time, these humans didn't just endure, they began to shape the world around them. By managing resources and using their growing knowledge, they carved out a space in an unforgiving landscape. They left behind rock art, tools, and other artifacts, showing that even in a land filled with danger, creativity and resilience could flourish. Prehistoric Australia was a battlefield, but humans emerged as unlikely victors. Their journey wasn't easy, but it was remarkable. With fire, teamwork, and endless determination, they faced a world of monsters and survived. Their legacy is a testament to the power of human ingenuity and the unshakable will to overcome even the wildest challenges.